Well, it seems like NASA maybe have discovered something potentially that could be potentially a biosignature on Mars. We have SpaceX just throwing around money like it's monopoly money. And we have a booster static fire. Plenty of stuff to talk about this week. Let's roll the intro. Let's get to it.
And here we go. We have liftoff. Propulsion continues to be normal.
R68 chamber pressure looks good.
Doubling up. Roger, Atlantis.
Water towers, fly! Yes!
Tango down to nominal.
Fighting downside at speed off. Bring in at speed off. It's orange!
145! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Decollage. Put that in the big bag, Jingle.
343 unfolds to go.
Indeed. We rise together, back to the moon and beyond.
If the methane would be igniting in the flare, correct?
Yikes. You bet. We don't need any more of these.
Yikes. You bet. Concur. We don't need any more. Oh, sorry. Hey. Fancy seeing you here, Chad. How you doing? What's going on, everybody? This is the Flame Trench. This is NSF's weekly informal spaceflight commentary show where we talk about all the weird news that happened in the spaceflight industry and aerospace over the past week. I am EJ, your host. I'm a commentator for NSF. I stream on Twitch. You can see it says I am from Twitch over there. I am the Twitch. You should just EJ Twitch or something. Anyway, I am joined by an ever-confident cohort of co-hosts. Yeah, I got Sawyer Rosenstein here, a fellow NSF commentator and writer. Sawyer, how you doing?
I'm considered competent? And a cohort? And a co-host?
I can say what I really think if you want.
I think that's only allowed for members. We can't say that stuff on air. But
Yeah. All right, that's fair.
Good to be here. Glad to join you in the trench.
And we also have our local Taylor Swift aficionado, Mr. Ryan Weber. Ryan, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. What's up? Hi. Yeah.
What's up, man? Sorry.
That was on purpose. No, that was on purpose. No.
What do you mean? All right, we're good. We're good.
What? Hi, everyone. How's it going? Yeah. We're going to talk about a lot of fun stuff today. Starship and everything else.
Oh yeah, we got some good stuff. We got some spicy things. We got some not so spicy things. You know, whatever you need for your space flight palette, we got you here.
Yeah.
We don't. Whatever. We also have Jay bringing up the rear here in the rear with the gear, producing this show. Jay, if you're out there, hi. If not, just wave. Just wave. I need you to just wave at your computer right now. Just. Okay, cool. Yeah, I saw it. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
Wait, this thing only operates on rear-wheel drive?
Yeah, rear-wheel drive is better.
As opposed to all-wheel drive? I mean, given the conditions we're talking about here, it can get bumpy, it can get rocky.
Yeah, but smiles per gallon, though.
Wait, what's that?
What's a gallon? I only know liter.
What happened to you?
Hey,
I don't know.
I measure fuel in pounds.
What?
Kilograms.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
Well, what planet are you even on right now? From your background, it looks like a different one.
I was going to say that I moved. I have moved.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, let's go. It's bad if I'm the one reeling everybody in. All right, so let's reel it back. So, all right, you guys know the drill. If you at NASASpaceflight, you can ask questions that way. Just tag at us if you want to join this conversation. You can talk in. We will be taking questions. I'll be going through the support queue and everything. And you know what? I think that's where I'm going to start real quick before we get into the first thing. We had Adam H. becoming a Red Team member. Adam, we appreciate you. Thank you very much. We have the Space Pope, bless this trench, and boo weather delays. Huh. Yeah, I know. You know, it's one thing Sawyer loves doing is covering the same launch 3 times in a row.
Mm-hmm. You know? It was almost 4, but at least they delayed before we went live.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we have Nick Petros with a $5 super chat. Happy Friday. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go indeed. All right. We have John Cochise, Mr. Coffee, gifted a Red Team membership. Thank you very much, guys. Once again, if you want to join these conversations, we have a couple of different topics for you today. If you want to join these conversations, tag out NASASpaceflight. I'll try to field those questions as best as I can, and we'll go from there. All right. What is topic of discussion for the day? Sawyer, do you want to discuss what's behind me here? I mean, there is some rocks. They're red rocks. What's going on?
I don't see any shrimp in there because red rock shrimp is delicious, but that doesn't mean there isn't the possibility of signs of past life in the image that you see in front of you. So, big announcement this week that the Mars Perseverance rover found these little dots and specks and leopard spots and poppy seeds, which could be alien poop. Let me break that down a little bit because it's wild, it's cool, it's awesome. So basically, they went in and they checked out this rock that was along a riverbed at Jezero Crater. And when they looked, they saw these sort of lighter spots with dark rims that they ended up calling leopard spots. And then there's also the poppy seeds, which are these other little deposits. So, in particular, what are these deposits? Well, there's two. There is vivinite, which is basically iron phosphate type deal, and then there's also greigite, which is an iron sulfide. Why is that a big deal? Well, when we typically see the two of those on Earth, that is usually biological in origin. So essentially, there are certain minerals that get eaten by these microbial life and then get deposited as these sort of sulfides that come out. So these little poppy seeds and things we're used to seeing on Earth. Does that mean that they're only made biologically? No. It can also be done via a chemical reaction. So it's worth specifying. This does not mean there is life on Mars. This is not the definitive gotcha moment. This is not, hey, we did it, folks. Throw up the celebration, put a sign on a boat, anything like that. This is the strongest evidence that we have seen so far of past biological life on the surface, but it is not guaranteed. The only real way to know for sure would be to be able to bring it back to an actual laboratory, because Perseverance, it has some good experiments on it. It has plenty of its own little mini laboratory that it can do these studies with, but obviously you're limited when you only have the space of a Volkswagen Beetle. It only fits so much. So that's where we're at. It is the strongest sign so far. I mean, it's a good thing that Perseverance did drop samples that could be grabbed by a Mars sample return mission. That's a whole nother can of worm poop. But anyway, cool highlight.
So this isn't, sorry, just to be very clear, it's not life, but it could be signs of life. It could be signs that there was life on Mars a long time ago. Like, this is almost definitive, right? But it's not, it could be, but it also could be something else. But it's definitely trending in the right direction that, of like hard, no pun intended, because rocks, they have holes in them. They're not hard. Anyway, like this is this kind of like more reinforcing evidence for life being on Mars at some point? Or is there life on Mars now? Like it's more evidence for the former rather than the latter, right?
This would definitely be in the past when there was because that was one of the big things with Jezero Crater and the area that it is. I mean, Perseverance has basically said there was water there at some point. So this is probably likely when that was the case. And the fact that all of the things that are there are typically associated with those building blocks of life. See, there it is. You can see one of the valleys there, billions of years ago, as it says. I don't know. I mean, it's cool. The fact that there are those biological signs typically that are needed to create this is awesome. But it is worth noting, as I pointed out, these same leopard spots and poppy seeds can be created through chemical reactions with heat and with other interactions happening. So, doesn't mean that it is, but it is a possibility. It is one of the possibilities of how these were formed, which is pretty cool.
Neat. All right, Ryan, how do you feel about this? Do you think that's life, or you think it's a result of a chemical process? Like, you think it's just Mars doing rock things?
I mean, it could be. I would hope. I kind of hope it is. I mean, obviously, I mean, we won't. It's hard to know with just a study from a robot. We'd have to bring it back and study it more, or send someone there to get a sample and do a study there with like a lab or something like that. To actually get definitive confirmation, because you can only get so much information with the instruments that you have available on board the rover that you have there. So I kind of hope it is, but it may not be. Either way, it's a cool find, and I mean, you know, I always like it when we find new stuff on another planet. It's cool. It's scientific exploration. We don't know what it is. I mean, it could be this, it could be that. It's a cool find nonetheless. Let's go with that.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah. All right. Sweet. Just want to get your 2 cents there. Sorry, what's up?
Did you hear that Rocket Lab is building a Mars telecommunications orbiter? I don't think they posted that on social media at all in the last week, even though it was announced a month ago.
Nah, I didn't know that. You want to
no,
fill us in?
I didn't know that.
I did know that, Chad, but you might not. Sorry, tell him.
Anyway, one of the things that Rocket Lab was discussing that they are working on is basically the fact that once you're in orbit around Mars and you want to be able to communicate with things on the ground, you're going to need a communications network. Kind of like now there's Starlink here and TDRS. They want to basically create kind of a sort of Mars TDRS in a way. So yeah, basically a Mars telecommunications orbiter that would allow for those Earth to Mars links, as it says in the post. I'm so used to it being on the other side. Normally when I look this way on this monitor, it's on that side. Anyway, but yeah, so that is kind of what they're aiming at. And they've been tying it into humans returning to Mars. They've been tying it in to sample return missions from Mars. So there's a lot of, a lot of mentions on their social media about it.
So, all right. Let's address the elephant in the room then. Mars sample return. Rocket Lab is really getting in hard on being like, oh, look, we can do this. Please, we can do this. Ryan, do you want to bring us up to speed as to why they're like, no, hey, we should do this? You want me to explain it? Or, I mean, I don't know who's going to explain it better. This is a can of worms that hopefully did leave some biosignatures, but certainly not the ones that they found.
I don't know. You seem pretty. Why don't you go, EJ? I do have thoughts on the whole sample return thing. Okay. To put it that way, but yeah.
So the reason why Rocket Lab is all like, oh, look, we can do sample return, please, like we can do it, is because, well, I think a train derailing is probably more coherent than NASA's Mars sample return mission at this particular moment in time. Yes, that's right. Yes, honk the horn. That's right, Jay. That's right. It goes in the train horn hole. So, there have been calls in the budget for NASA to cancel Mars sample return, right? But sorry, the train horn got me, man.
That was pretty good. That was
good.
So there have been budget calls to cancel Mars sample return, but that's the thing. Canceling Mars sample return is not canceling Mars sample return, right? And I know somebody just went, what? The Mars sample return program right now is not a Mars sample return program. It is a planning committee for a Mars sample return program. It's planning to figure out what the best way to do a Mars sample return is. It's not, but they didn't change the name. I don't know why they didn't do that, but it's basically like it is a program that is designed to basically figure out all the best options and go. It is getting its own funding. The actual Mars sample return program was deemed by, I think, Bill Nelson's NASA like a number of years ago. It was deemed that it was too expensive and it was way behind schedule. So they canceled it and replaced it with the planning committee. Yeah. So we are like, despite having a Mars sample return program going on for a number of years now, we are actually further away than when we started. So, who knows when we're going to get these samples back? But once again, Perseverance is leaving these samples in sealed containers out on the Martian surface. That's a video of the sample collector over there, and it kind of just pops out these like sealed capsules, and then something else can go and get it and bring them back for Mars sample return. But it's kind of interesting because I can't help but mention this too. All right, I hate to be that guy, but Starship's coming. It's coming along. It's coming along good. By the time we get NASA, if they keep going on their present course, by the time this planning committee kind of goes through, they plan to do this, and they plan to do that, and then they actually maybe someday do it, right? Or even if they got Rocket Lab to do it, there might be people there already. So, maybe we should just plan to send Ryan and a shovel. Ryan, would you go? Would you go to Mars with a shovel?
Sure, I'll go to Mars with a shovel. We got a way home. As long as you get a place to live, either a way home or a place to live there with sustainability and everything. I'll go. Sure.
Yeah,
I'll do it.
Sweet, man.
But the one thing I will say, I find it funny that we went through the whole thing of including the system on Perseverance without any way to actually bring any of it home. It's too funny.
Yeah.
To this day, it's too funny.
So, yeah, the crux of the Mars sample return mission was that they didn't really have a way to build a launch pad on Mars. There's no... If you want to get something from the surface of Mars back to Earth, right, that's going to require a good amount of delta V, and you're going to actually basically need to land a launch pad on Mars to go and collect the samples and then bring them to your launch site and then make a launch pad. And then have a staged vehicle go bring it all the way back. You need a heavy Martian lander to do that, and that is not something NASA has. That's not something anyone has right now. SpaceX would probably be the closest, right?
But
what do you think?
I was like, no, what?
No, oh yeah, no, I know, dude. Yeah, I know, right? And I know what people are gonna say. Well, why don't we just use the same thing that Perseverance used? Well, Sawyer was saying that Perseverance is the size of a Mini Cooper. It's a pretty big rover. You would need something like 3 or 4 times the size of the sky crane and everything. We just don't have that. Nothing like that exists. That's the big reason why Mars Sample Return had all those problems and why they replaced it with a planning for Mars Sample Return Committee. It's because, Ryan, not only did they leave those samples out there and we're like, yeah, we'll get them. The program that they put through, they forgot the whole landing everything down there. They forgot that part. Mm-hmm. You don't have a heavy lander. NASA doesn't have a heavy lander for Mars. Maybe if we had a Mars program like human exploration, maybe that would be a thing.
Maybe.
I
mean, just the quickest way to do it, I legitimately think this is the quickest way to do it, is to design something that's in the... I mean, weight wouldn't be a factor in this case. You just have to keep it in and around the 100-ton mark, and build an expendable Starship and just chuck it at Mars and pop open a fairing on Starship. It could just be a stainless steel fairing, and who really cares at that point? Just pop open a fairing and do one long burn, send it at Mars, and then bring down a sky crane of a small pad and a ascent vehicle and go. That's probably the quickest, because landing Starship on the surface and then trying to get it back off the surface is a whole other can of worms. So it's probably easier to put something inside the Starship with hypergolics or something. But
you
that's probably
son of a gun. I'm in.
That's probably the quickest way. Just send it, design it, send it, be done with it. But you're still talking needing the budget for that, and yeah. Good luck. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say.
Dang, man.
So I have a question then.
All right. What's up?
How is that going to work if it takes, 10 to 15 refueling Starships to be able to get HLS to the moon? How is that going to work with being able to get a lander that can get onto the surface of Mars and back? how many tankers is that going to need? And where are those tankers going to need to be? They're going to need to have some in Earth orbit and some in Martian orbit, right?
No.
How is
Well,
that-
what you
How
do
does,
ahead,
how
Ryan.
does the logistics of that work?
what you
Ding,
do is
ding.
you refuel the ship in Earth orbit, where depending on how many refuels it takes to get it on its Mars injection orbit, and you just burn and go. You lose either you open a fairing up, like maybe the whole nose cone opens up, or maybe it's an expendable fairing that goes back into the ocean. Although that kind of a big of a fairing would be kind of nuts. But maybe it just opens up and deploys. Once it's on its Mars injection orbit, it just deploys this, and then the Starship just goes out into space and just kind of keeps going. And the vehicle, the whole Mars ascent vehicle, the sample collector, everything is inside the payload bay of Starship, and it goes to Mars, enters our Mars atmosphere, not re-enters, enters Mars atmosphere, lands, picks it up, and then ascends and comes back all on its own. You'd have to basically include the entire sample collector, landing vehicle, and ascent vehicle all at once, and you just use the Starship as the transfer vehicle to get it there. After that, that Starship is just floating in space at that point on its way. Yeah,
I mean,
that's my
that-
plan for it. at
that's
least.
that's not a bad plan, dude. And like once again, this is stuff that's coming down the pipe. Like, it seems like with how and I don't mean to be critical of NASA so much. I mean, I love NASA. Like, who doesn't? But like, it's a planning committee. Even if you started Mars sample return tomorrow and gave them the money that they need, like, would a sample return mission be ready to go in time before SpaceX is ready to lob something at Mars? I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, Rocket Lab seems to think they can get it done quick. Maybe NASA should just go with that, and that's probably why Rocket Lab's like, hey. Yeah, no, yeah, Chris B, yeah, we're in chat. Yeah, you're fun, and now, yeah, me too, man. I'm a big fan. Anyway, you guys want to do some questions about this? There's got some pretty good questions teed up here.
Yeah, because I mean, the thing is, though, even for the recovery thing, it doesn't have to be big. It just
Yep.
has to be able to get the samples and get off the surface. I'm just concerned. I mean, Starship is only on test flight 11 right now still. HLS, I believe, is still a high priority, at least, especially under NASA's purview. HLS is the priority. So I don't know how they'd be able to squeeze that in a reasonable amount of time. I mean, at this point, we're talking mid to late 2030s rather than, I know Elon was hoping for early 2030s. But I think we're talking later than that. You're telling me that there's nothing that can be devised before then? And even so, before they send humans to Mars, aren't they going to send an uncrewed lander and return to test everything? That's still going to take time. And you also have the Mars windows of every 2 years of being able to launch with ideal conditions. So,
Yeah.
throwing that all out there.
These are good points. Ryan, what's up?
The nice thing with doing that Starship concept is, yeah, you need the tankers, you need the depots, however many it takes to refuel it. The nice thing is the Starship for it is relatively simple, and this will make Kevin Michael Reed happy, and anyone who likes the ship I shall not name, is that it would be without a heat shield, no flaps. It would just be a drive section, tank section, and then you have like a nose cone section that can just open, and then the vehicle goes out, and that's it. It's pretty simple, honestly.
I mean, everything would have to be expended on that rocket then, basically.
Yeah. Not like they haven't expended them before in the last 10 flights. I mean,
yeah, how many of those were intentional, though?
well, I mean, here's the thing: you're expending a Starship, which is not really going to cost that much, relatively speaking, compared to how much would it probably take to make a Mars ascent vehicle, lander, and a sample return vehicle to all fit in one in that Starship. How much do you think that's going to cost to make? I mean, what was it? I don't even remember it was several billion from what NASA was saying, even more than that, in order to make it. But I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, if Rocket Lab is all for it, I mean, maybe they can design it and stick it on Starship. I don't know.
Cool. Yeah, no, good conversation, dudes. Here,
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw more monkey wrenches in with some questions if you guys don't mind. All right, so here, Cosmic is asking if the conditions were right in the past, would Mars have been able to make oil? And if so, when does NASA send freedom to it? Sawyer, you got this one. I put that in there on purpose.
Yeah, because I mean, basically, right now, our vehicles are being powered by dead dinosaurs. So, thank you, whatever meteoroid caused the extinction event, whatever it is, 'cause that's what's fueling most of our vehicles, some of our houses, a lot of stuff right now. So, I think if they found oil on Mars, that's a whole different story because that's usually carbon based, and carbon based typically means life based. So if that's the case, I mean, that opens up, well, a whole nother can of dinosaurs, I guess. But, um, or would that technically be a barrel, since that's how they measure oil? But anyway, regardless, that would be dramatic. I don't think there is going to be oil there, especially because we have sent missions that have drilled down into the surface quite a bit. There was um, oh, what was the one that went to the poles? It wasn't Mars Polar Lander because that one was the miscalculation one. Phoenix, I think it was, did a bunch of digging on the surface. So yeah, it's not like they haven't tried to dig deep before. So it would be very freedom though.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be pretty useful. I'm just putting that out there. That'd be pretty useful. That was a good question, though. I mean, send freedom to it. I mean, let's be real. If we found hydrocarbons on Mars, I really think we would be there quickly, relatively expedient. Let me put it that way.
Yeah. Also, I should have
Yeah.
known Phoenix because I saw it being built at JPL. But anyway,
Oh yeah. I just had to get the flex in there, huh?
of course, it's Flame Trench. I haven't had a Sawyer Flex yet, and we're 30 minutes in. So
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's fair. That's fair. All right, Ryan. This question's going to you. How can they be sure that there isn't contamination from a spacecraft? That's coming from Khaled Zubi. Ryan, are you out
That's
there?
that. I
Okay,
am.
you're there.
I am here. Sorry, I didn't mute.
UHF com check.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just talking to someone in the back channel.
No, we good, man.
Yeah. That is always the issue when going to other planets, even going to the ISS. Is you're trying to reduce contamination as much as possible. That's why you have cleaner rooms. That's why you have people. That's why you see the ninjas all dressed up during crew missions. You're trying to keep things clean as possible. It is going to be a thing going to Mars. When you send all the HAB modules, when you send everything to try to keep it contamination clean, it is going to be a hard thing to do. Eventually, it's if we do have regular travel there and back, it's going to be a chore to do. I don't know when it'll eventually stop, but I think there will be a point where it's like, well, we already have a big enough presence on Mars. I don't know how much we do this anymore, but yeah, it's still an issue. You have to figure out. You have to make sure things are clean and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right, we got another question here. We'll do two more and then we'll keep going here. This one's coming from Stevenson's Rocket. I like trains. It's a good name. All right. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. All right. Sawyer, do you think it's better to have the samples ready and waiting than getting sample return available and then take samples? Surely. So what's better? Like the way they're doing it now or getting something that can actually get you the samples and then trying to get the samples? Sawyer, which way?
I mean, I guess it was kind of a way to give them the option of, sure, hey, if you want, we've got stuff already prepackaged and ready for you to pick up over here. That way it saves, in theory, would save mass because you don't then have to include a drill. You don't then have to include a core sampler, everything needed to actually collect it and bundle it. All you need is a little rover with an arm on it and a storage place for the containers. That's all you would need. So I get why they did that. I mean, obviously, if you send people there or you send a mission specific for it, sure, it's easy to go pick it up. The other thing that's interesting, again, is Perseverance got them from different areas on Mars. So you're saving so much time of having to stop, dig, and get different environments, different parts of Jezero Crater. different types of rocks, things like that. It saves you having to worry about all of the actual science part. Science done. You just got to go pick it up, and then you get an entire swath of a whole section of Mars.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I think the way they're doing it right now is okay because you're getting a bunch of different samples. That's not a bad idea. And Sawyer, it's important to say like we're getting those samples before there's any human contamination. So these samples were there when there's just robots. So you don't have to worry about like somebody sneezing on it and be like, oh no, there's humans on Mars. Like these samples were bottled before any humans were there. That's a good. I think letting the samples go the way they're doing it now is a pretty good way. It would have been nice to just design the way to get them back too at the same time.
You ask for so much.
I know, right? It's like, hey, I would like to buy an automobile with 4 tires, and they're like, yeah, well, this one has 3, and maybe you can buy a 4th later. Like with a subscription service, I'm like, no, bad. Don't get any ideas, Auto. Please. It's ridiculous. Anyway, all right, we got another question here. All right, Ryan, this one's for you. How do we feel about awarding the first company to bring back samples times the amount of dollars to bring the sample back?
Man, that times the amount of dollars to bring the sample back. That'd be a decent amount of money. That could end up being a decent amount to do it. It definitely would get people to. It might get companies to work a little bit faster because that could be a decent. That could be a lot of money for the company.
Yeah, but the question, like an X Prize or something, dude, with a huge incentive bonus. That's not a bad idea.
And I could only the question is how much money in the budget is that going to be, because the government doesn't usually work that way, because that's an unknown quantity of money, really, in some ways. And the government doesn't like that. They like to budget things, and then we'll go over budget usually. But, yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, yeah, no, that's good stuff. I mean, if it is a biosignature, I mean, we probably get out there and probably figure it out, even if it's through a sample return or sending, Ryan with a shovel. Probably be better to go figure that out sooner rather than later before somebody else does.
Yeah, before Ryan loses his shovel.
Yeah, you don't want that. If Ryan loses his shovel, we're screwed.
Grab my Leatherman. We'll go.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Good call. All right, let's jump through the support queue. The support queue is piling up, and I don't like it. I don't like having the support queue full. I must empty it. It's some obsessive compulsive thing that I'm not sure why that happens. But anyway, all right, we got XD9 gifting 10 Red Team memberships. Thank you very much, buddy. Appreciate it. All right, we got Echo Deal with a $10 super chat. So what we need is a Mars to actually return samples program and call it Mars. Yeah, that might probably a good idea. Calling the program what it's actually supposed to do. Instead of calling it Mars sample return and not planning for Mars sample return. So when somebody goes to say no, this program shouldn't exist, it's stupid. But what? You don't like Mars sample return? It's like that meme that you see posted on social media. Social media is like, man, I really like waffles. What does that mean? You don't like pancakes? The heck's the matter with you? It's like, no, that's a whole different thing. Okay.
Wait, so you're saying this would then be a Mars? It would be the Mars mission.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Going back to what Kevin was saying in chat earlier of you have to do a study for a study. I heard you like studies, so I decided to do a study on your studies so that you can study your studies for your Mars mission.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You've just been pimped. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Oliver,
that's my yeah, I'm cool. It's just thumbs up.
Don't do that again.
Yeah. I'm agree. I agree with EJ. Don't. Yeah.
See, even Jay's like,
no.
Ow. All right. Anyway, Oliver Riemann with a $6.28 super chat. if it were aliens, and I'm sure they would have communicated like this. If it was aliens, they would have communicated like this. Ack, 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 ack. Yeah, but they might be attacking when they do that, and we don't. If they attacked us, we would.
Blarg?
Ack, ack,
Someone get that
ack.
reference. Blarg? There you go.
Look, yes, Ia Kurgurk.
Yeah.
I got you. And reference acknowledged,
nice.
Oliver.
Yes.
I'll be honest, I just read the super chat and thought it was talking about the Billy Joel song, like Heart Attack, ack, 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 ack. But anyway, you ought to know by now that I come up with that.
Okay, Chad, he's got a point. All right. Mobley the Space Dog with a $5 super chat. Have you guys seen Jared Isaacman's interview on Sean Ryan this week? Yeah, he's got some great ideas. Yeah, I watched that. Did you guys watch that?
I did not.
I didn't either, honestly.
It's yeah.
We're just gonna leave it at that.
It's
Okay.
yeah in a good way. It's yeah because like wow, this guy really knows what he's talking about. He should be NASA administrator, but he's not. That's really frustrating because these are some really good ideas.
In a different world. Well, here we are.
That's the gist of it. No, it's actually a super good interview. Sean Ryan asked some really good questions. He's if you don't know, he's an ex-Navy SEAL that does a podcast. It's a really good one. Yeah, it's that was a great interview. It's like 3 hours long. I put it on 2x speed and sent it. So I'm sitting there going, yeah, okay. Wait, I didn't get that. Okay, yeah. But yeah, I mean, Rook. So I'll bring you guys up to speed. I'll give you the gist of it. Rook basically argues to have a NASA that's more focused on short-term interim things because technology changes so fast, particularly in the space domain. He basically says, okay, say, we send SLS to the moon, right? We get HLS we go down to the moon, right? And you discover water ice. Now all of a sudden SLS doesn't make sense. It makes much more sense to use it to develop in situ resource utilization and then pivot your architecture over to a more reusable, robust architecture that's suited for whatever you find. Basically having NASA's programs be adaptive to whatever they find, right? So I'll use the, decaying hydrocarbons on Mars. Like say we get the sample return and we prove that there's a biosignature and that proves that there was carbon-based life on Mars at some point and there's potentially coal or oil on Mars. I don't think there is, probably long gone, but say that happened. Well, now you have this information and now you have to, all right, now we got to figure out how to cram an oil refinery into Starship or cram an oil refinery on a lander and launch it on SLS. His basically the whole argument is for NASA to be adaptive based off of their scientific findings on the human exploration front, on the scientific returns front, and instead of NASA to, instead of making one big gigantic rover, make a bunch of smaller rovers, like and retire the risk. So NASA's basically launching a mission to Mars like every year, or not every year, every transfer window. It's actually it's like, man. That's a really good idea, dude.
And you got to get Congress on board with that. Good luck.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I would do that.
I mean, like, that sounds amazing, but when you actually look at the reality of what NASA is and who NASA reports to, you would have to get every administration and every Congress on board with spending the budget for that, having budgeting for all that, getting their approval to do it. Good luck. Good luck. That's the only way NASA thrives is if you put a scientist in charge or someone like Jared in charge, basically, who's willing to do that kind of stuff and still be safe and do all that. And NASA and Congress and the administration gives NASA a budget and says, here, and walks away. That's the only way NASA will really succeed, I think, in the future. Is Congress and the U.S. government needs to just leave them be, put someone good in charge and leave them be, give them a budget. That's because the whole thing with the Senate launch system. There's a reason why it's called that.
Oh, throwing the shade in with the alternate nickname. Dang.
It is.
You know, I think that SLS became a thing because of the lack of plan for NASA, the lack thereof. Just but yeah, you got to have a plan. You got to stick to it, dude. I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. Sure, for sure. That was a good question, Mobley. All right, let's punch through the rest of this super chat, then we move on to the next topic. Yeah. All right. So Turtle has a $5 super chat. Here's an idea. Let's send Starship to Mars to investigate the dino poop. I wouldn't say no. Yeah, I wouldn't be saying no to that. That's a good idea. We should do that. Yeah, we should do that more.
Take a little bit to get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
I'll take any vehicle at this point to do it.
Right?
Yeah. Literally anything would be good over just planning. Jay Keegan in the back channel says Aries.
Maybe
we
not.
have literally we have nothing right now to go there.
Good idea. Good idea. I'm just saying.
I mean, the Aries architecture was actually really good. I'll say constellation architecture was very good. I won't.
Sawyer, just say it. Just acknowledge it and move on. Come on.
No,
you can do it. We believe in you.
Constellation had great architectural design.
We believe in you.
Despite the vehicles that they chose.
Imagine Aries, but instead of Aries 1, you have like New Glenn launching Orion, and then you have Aries 5 alongside Starship. Yeah, I know Aries 5 isn't reusable or anything, but that combined is like 240 tons to low Earth orbit. You know, both rockets flying. You're running 39A and 39B with Aries 5. The vehicle assembly building is running like 2 or 3 of its high bays with 2 or 3 mobile launchers. You're just running it, flying it like crazy in a different world. Like, you know,
could have been there. Could have done it. Saying.
And I'm not saying it, chat. No, I will not say a good thing about that rocket.
You won't even say its name.
I will not give it that dignity.
Say its name.
Try me.
No. Gosh. Right. Anyway. All right. Turtle with another $5 super chat. Jack looks different without his beard. Oh wait, it's just EJ running the train like it's a monorail down Mount Fuji.
Do monorails even have horns on them?
All aboard or something. Drew Nar with $5 Canadian. What's up, Drew? Okay, so send an expendable Starship to Mars to land and launch a smaller Starship from Mars. No fuel transfer. I mean, one-way trip. Yeah, you could do that. Ryan was talking about that. Just send a Starship and then just put the ascent vehicle in Starship's payload volume and just have a stainless steel fairing and send it. Starship is good enough to land a launch pad, so to speak, down there. It's just, we should do that. That'd be cool. Ryan, do you think that'd be cool if we, just did that instead of, having nothing? That would be that'd be good.
I'm all for anything over nothing. Let's be honest here. Let's be honest.
Yeah, no. We tend in this channel where we talk about space flight and rockets, we tend to want that and not nothing. I don't know if you guys got that from the channel or the motif that we got going on here. We like space flight. I know. So weird, right?
We do.
No, it's strange. Mr. Gamer IO with the $2 super chat. Does this mean we get a cheesecake celebration? Yeah, there's always room for cheesecake. Sure. Why not?
No, what we need now, poppy seed bagels.
Okay. Yeah, all right.
Poppy seeds in the rock. And real bagels, because Jack isn't here, so we can actually enjoy real bagels.
Yeah, plain bagel with cream cheese. Plain cream cheese. It's the greatest, most simplest thing there is.
I knew I liked you, Ryan.
And a cup of coffee along with it.
That's
fair.
That is quite actually my breakfast this morning.
I knew I liked you too, EJ.
How'd you take the coffee, Ryan?
Oh, sometimes I put maybe a little bit of milk in it, but sometimes I do it just the old Captain Janeway style.
Good call. I want my coffee to look like my motor oil. Just saying. Sawyer, how do you take your coffee? This is important.
I don't drink coffee.
It's not for everyone. Hey, AJ.
What?
It's an
What?
acquired taste. It's not for
It is an
everyone.
acquired taste.
Yes,
The
it's
first
an
time I
acquired taste.
tasted coffee, I was like, this tastes like chalk. Right?
31
This
years
is
I've
great.
yet to acquire that taste still.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Now I seek out the chalk tasting beverage. I don't know what that says about me and Ryan, but
Well, I mean, you also probably get yours from Duncan, being from Boston. But
Oh yeah,
Nope.
guy. Of course I get it from Duncan, dude. Freaking love Duncan, guy. I love that. See that Duncan nuts? No, sorry. All right. Anyway, Greg Watson, $5 super chat. This just in. Ryan yearns for the mines on Mars. He does. Look at him. Look at him. See? He does. Look at him.
I'll stand on Mars with the Hawaiian shirt and let's go digging. Let's do it. Don't
right.
ignore the fact that I definitely won't survive that, but we'll do it. Let's do it.
Hey, I've seen Total Recall. You just got to find the alien ruins.
Or we put the Hawaiian shirt on the outside of the pressure suit. There you go.
Now we're talking.
Yeah. Do it in style.
Next transfer window, it is a Hawaiian spacesuit transfer. So just go ahead and wear a Hawaiian spacesuit.
Yeah.
Let's
do it.
I mean, you should go ahead and come in on Sunday. Gotta play catch up. Don't have all those sample returns from the Israel crater. Yeah.
Yep.
Mahalo, let's go.
Chat did last time you did not receive a piece of cake. Wait, we already said we were going to have cheesecake. The guy said it. The guy said it in the tip message. Weren't you paying attention, Eric? Jeez. Drunar with another $2 Canadian. Protect me, cone. Yes.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Reference acknowledged. It's one of the greatest series ever.
Yep. Ben Creasy Vision with a $10 super chat. Speaking of cramming an oil rig into Starship, how do they cram a cryogenic farm onto a tanker? What do you mean? You could just okay. All right. With Starship, you know how like the Block 2 Starships have like a much smaller payload bay, right? And it's more taken up by fuel.
Not exactly smaller, but yeah.
They switch the rings around. But I mean, Ryan, you could just basically make this thing a gigantic methane and oxidizer tank and then just put a nose cone on the top with some forward flaps and rear flaps. That's essentially what the tankers are, Ryan, right? Like, am I in the ballpark here?
The only thing they're probably going to do with the tankers is move the domes up. They'll probably move the common dome up a little bit and move the forward dome up a little bit into the payload bay and be done with it. Because you're not going to make separate tanks in the payload bay. That's a lot of extra added weight. It's more domes. That's all it is. All you're going to do is move the domes and make the transfer tubes a little bit longer. But I think that's about all you're going to do for a tanker.
I think what the question's asking, though, is you mentioned that you would basically have to build a launch pad on Mars with this vehicle. So it's how would that become a launch pad on the surface if you need all of those cryogenics?
So you need pumps. With Starship, you'll need subcoolers, you'll need pumps, you'll need lines, you'll need vaporizers, which to pressurize the tank farm and whatnot on Mars would be a little more difficult because trying to pull gas out of the air there is kind of a bit of a pain. I don't know how heat exchange works there with that atmosphere though as well. The vaporizers on Earth work with
it's cold.
You
got cold. You can exchange with the atmosphere. The atmosphere is freezing over there.
You'd be able to exchange better, but you'd need a whole farm to do it. There's a lot that goes into that, which would take a while to bring everything over and then build it all. Not to mention the storage tanks you need. Good luck.
You have a smaller vehicle, though, inside of Starship's usable payload volume with some in situ resource utilization. The Starship can be your tank farm, can it not?
The Starship, the thing is with insulation with holding the propellant inside those tanks, plus those Starship, it'll eventually be designed and probably is designed to be able to hold it for the voyage to Mars. In terms of you're talking long-term storage, Starship is not designed for that in any way, shape, or form. It's not designed to constantly have pressure pressure changes and do all that kind of stuff. It's not really what it's designed for. It would eventually fail a lot quicker than, say, a ground tank would, like one of the horizontal tanks you see at any of the tank farms or the Sphere. It's just not designed for that kind of thing. SpaceX tried. I'll just say this: SpaceX tried to make their own ground tanks with Starship design, and look how that turned out. It worked, but they had to make some modifications to it to reinforce it a little bit. But it's not designed for it. They could probably make it work. It's just you're also keeping methane and liquid oxygen the same together, with just a single dome separating them rather than in separate tanks. So that also presents a lot of hazards and everything like that. But you could probably try to figure something out.
I mean, you know what, guys, we'll have more Starship talk at the like when we get to the Starship section in a little bit, because we do have some good stuff to talk about. But I'm gonna file this one up here about a Mars sample return Starship based architecture, and we will bring that back in a little bit. Ben, that was a great question, dude. That was a good one. Forgive me for misunderstanding it. It has been a long and weird week. We don't need to elaborate. Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. It's been a long and weird week. We don't need to elaborate on why. Just let's keep going. Anyway, Jacques, thank you for becoming a Pad Rat member. We do appreciate you. Hey, Fluffy, what's up, man? $2 super chat. There's coffee in that nebula, dude. We should go. Get that intergalactic filtered bean water. I'm in.
But what are we gonna pour it into? We would need a cool mug to put the coffee in.
And if we're wearing our Hawaiian space suits, Sawyer, we should, use those too.
Yeah.
You guys know we don't have Hawaiian space suits, but we do have Hawaiian shirts. We have Earth Hawaiian shirts here, and coffee mugs, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And see, that segue was good. All right, don't sigh. Don't look at us like that. Hey, it was a good one.
Who's the one who teed you up for it?
Yeah, Sawyer teed me up for it. It was fine. Hey, don't. Where are you going? Don't come up. Think they're gonna come back, guys?
Maybe.
No, it was nice knowing them. All right.
Maybe they went to the store to buy a mug.
Oh, if they did, then that's fine, because they can also leave a message if they get something while we're live.
Yeah, no, it's good. Good. I like this idea. I'm happy to be a part of it. Let's do it. But yeah, we got plenty of merch out there, guys. If you want to support us that way, that's cool. Let's be real. Most of it, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I drive around an old pickup. We don't. We're not making the big butts over here. We do this because we like it. We do this because we are all obsessed and just huge space flight nutcases. I mean, Sawyer, how long have you had the space bug now at this point? Like 15 years?
Almost 20.
Yeah. Yep. I'm at like 15 myself. Ryan, what about you?
Oh boy, I don't even remember. It's been a while. We'll just put it that way. It's probably 15, 20 years at this rate.
Ryan can tell you the specifics of dilithium power generation, okay?
Yeah.
That's what kind of nerds we're dealing with here, okay? Right? So, yeah, you go over the store, you support us and our terrible spaceflight habits. It's great.
I should go grab my my Enterprise D technical manual, and I can tell you how the warp plasma is then directed into the warp coils. It charges the warp coils, which creates a warp field, which can then bend space-time and allow any Starfleet ship to travel faster than light.
Yeah, it goes through the plasma manifold. Yeah. Right?
Wait, am I the longest who's been bit by the space bug of the three of us?
I think Chris B's got you, but of the three of us,
the three of us, yeah. 2007 is when I got it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I'm old. I get it.
The end of the space shuttle program really did it for me. I'm like, this is no.
STS 118 for me.
Yeah, I mean, I watched launches. I did see 117 and 118, but because I lived in Florida at the time. But that was just like, oh man, there's a shuttle launch on. Let's put that on. I really like space shuttle. Space is really cool. We should go further into space. I'm gonna get back to doing what I'm doing. COD 4, baby, let's go. It was like 2007, dude. It's like, what do you want? Right? Like, I didn't really get super into it until later. What's up?
So the good days of that franchise.
You know what? That's a very good point, right? I'm just gonna tell everybody, if you like gaming and you like first-person shooters, that Battlefield 6 comes out next month. I'm just saying, putting it out there.
Yeah, but you saw the open beta. It was a hacker's mess.
That was, but it was fun.
Or you can learn how to open a hyperspace window with or a slip space window with your Shao Fujikawa Translite engine, all that fun jazz.
Yep, absolutely. Maybe we should mount one on the back of a Pelican and use that to take out some Covenant capital ships.
Let's do it.
We just go into a whole nother video game genre there, or another.
Yeah, yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
Absolutely, we did.
Fine, I'll be the one throwing the sticky grenades. It's fine.
Oh, you got it. He got the reference. He got the reference. Yes.
Of course I did. I love Halo.
Yep. Yep. All right. Let me plow through the rest of the support queue, and then we'll get to the next topic. All right. We got John Cochie's Mr. Coffee again. $10 super chat. J&J Coffee Shop rules. It's not better than Dunkin'. Sorry. But thank you. I don't know what J&J is. I'll be honest with you. I bet you it's really good. Aramil Laurenthane with £5 Thank you, sir. Sample return. A swarm of drone copters and a small return orbiter. Ingenuities to go get the sample return. I like that idea, Aramil. I like where your mind's at. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm down.
My Mars copter goes swah, 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 swah.
Hey,
yes.
Whatever idea
Another good
works. Like,
yep.
Right. Whatever idea works, let's do it.
Yeah. Ryan's the guy with the banner that says literally anyone 2024. You know what I mean? Like, literally anything. Just go get it. Do it. All right. We got Mr. Fluffy. What's up again? $2 super chat. I regret my Nebula super chat. Why?
Because it led to a merch plug.
Oh.
You did this. This is on you. That's your fault. That's your fault. We're playing off you guys. That's the funny part. Anyway, you guys Pavlovianly want the merch plugs, don't you? Chat's like, no, we don't.
You just want to see how bad the transition is into and out of it.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty good. All right, we got one more from Heisenberg. Say my name.
You said his name. Yeah.
Yep, I did. Hawaiian shirts are not allowed on Mars for planetary protection reasons. Yeah, we could have biological palm tree and coconut contamination.
Or dolphins swimming around dragging
I will put my
capsules.
Hawaiian shirt on my spacesuit. Thank you very much. If I ever get one.
This is where I'd put my Hawaiian spacesuit. If I had one.
Plus, they're so well made, you don't have to worry about flakes and stuff coming off for them to land on the surface.
Yeah.
They're made in the USA.
Exactly.
See?
Too much plugging? Okay.
Yeah.
See?
ABP?
NSF.
ABP?
Concerned about FOD.
There you go.
With our merch.
Exactly.
You get minimal FOD with our merch. With our merch or something. Okay. Anyway, Jeff Rowe, thank you for becoming a Red Team member. We appreciate the support, guys. All right. Next topic. I'm handling this one. This is crazy. Like, feel free to chime in, dudes. But
you have the bandwidth to cover this one?
Let me spend some money and I'll get back to you. So,
come on, Jay, that was pretty good.
And I, we completely segued the pun. So pun and segues is fine. You can't have puns without segues because it's like peanut butter and jelly. You can't just say, who eats a peanut butter sandwich? Who eats a pun sandwich? You don't want a pun sandwich. You want a pun and segue sandwich, right?
I'll let it slide.
Is that I don't know. Anyway, all right. So SpaceX. You guys know SpaceX, that company that launches the big, steel tank watchers, them. So SpaceX spent $17 billion with a B. That's three commas club right here. On 50 megahertz of frequency in the S-band spectrum. So they spent $17 billion on what's called S-band spectrum licenses. Now, okay, some of you are like, yeah, that 17 billion is big. That's a big number. No, let me bring you up to speed. So the frequency range that they bought it from a company called EchoStar. EchoStar is basically DirecTV. It's like, the DirecTV service. They bought the spectrum frequency licenses from them. And what these licenses are for Starlinks. But they're not for Starlinks that are flying right now. These are specifically for another shell of Starlinks that are going to utilize Starship in the Starlink V3 technology, right? To basically be floating cell phone towers. So that means that SpaceX will be providing a service with their V3 Starlink satellites, the one that launches out of Starship, the one that we saw dispense out of the Pez dispenser on Flight 10. Those things are going to be floating cell towers that are actually in a lower orbit than the current Starlink network, and they will communicate with Starlink. So what that basically means is that SpaceX is going to offer a service to cell phone providers that will get you 5 bars and 5G anywhere on this planet. Anywhere. Full stop. Anywhere. Out in the middle of the ocean, sure. Top of Mount Everest, 5 bars, baby. Maybe not in a cave because cell phones require they use high frequency. It's very line of sight based. That's why if you're, like you're on your phone and you turn and the call drops, it's because, line of sight. Make sure, point it at the cell tower. It helps. Trust me. So SpaceX spent $17 billion on a deal with EchoStar. Now, it was a little bit split up. $8.5 billion of that was stock, basically stock in SpaceX, right? And the other $8.5 billion was straight cash on hand. Well, we don't know if it's on hand for sure, but $8.5 billion on hand. So SpaceX basically just cornered the market on direct to cell satellites. It's not exactly like a monopoly. They left some stuff open, probably on purpose for other cell providers or other companies to be able to do direct to cell services. But this is throwing around $17 billion is no joke. Even by spaceflight standards, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of cash. And SpaceX just did this. Probably, if I had to guess, they probably did it to ensure long-term funding for the Starship program. That would be my guess. But I mean, SpaceX is just throwing around NASA budget money right now, which is, I just want to point out the kind of craziness about that whole thing. That's actually a huge deal. Ryan, what do you think about this? Throwing around $17 billion. You think that SpaceX will corner the DTC or direct to cell market?
Pretty much. Yeah. The other part of that is you think of all those sat phone providers. Once this is operational, those are they're
basically gone.
They're obsolete. They're pointless. Literally,
pointless.
sat phones become nothing anymore once this constellation is up and running.
Mm-hmm.
That's because those it's kind of nuts because you just use your regular old cell phone now. You don't need a specific cell phone to contact the satellite. You can just use your cell phone, which is I will say this: it's kind of nuts when you think about it because if you go ahead, say once this is operational, and I'm just going to put this out there, I wonder if this is even possible. Once this is operational and you have a space station in low Earth orbit, okay, could you place a call with your cell phone using 5G and contact the space station? Are we talking like Star Trek comm badge, like from the surface of a planet to orbit? Is that what we're talking here in terms of? There's gonna be some latency, obviously, but because there's no subspace communications or anything like that. But are we talking that kind of connectivity here? Just kind of relaying through sats? That's the first thing that popped into my mind. I'm like, wait, so we're gonna have kind of like Star Trek comm badge like stuff. Of course, you can't go to another planet with that kind of call, but I don't know if you relay it enough.
Dude, yeah, pretty much. So Ryan, cast your mind back to the Polaris Dawn mission. Polaris Dawn, and From too, for what it's worth, flew with basically a on-orbit Starlink antenna that was mounted in Dragon's trunk called the Blazer. If you go look at some of that footage from Jared Isaacman and his crew up there, they're making FaceTime calls from a Dragon down to the surface. So yeah. That's what's happening right now, let alone later with the direct to cell stuff. This is absurd. Like that can you imagine just having 5G everywhere at all the time?
It's groundbreaking for. I mean, we already live in an incredibly interconnected world. Like it's an.
Mhm.
I don't. I mean, if you just stop to think about how connected this world is, you can literally call just about anyone on the face of this planet with a landline that's near a landline these days. Almost anywhere on the face of the planet with a cell phone, and this is just going to make it so. Oh, you're in the middle of the. Say you're at Point Nemo, you'll be able to call with a cell phone at Point Nemo.
It's crazy, man.
Like,
Crazy.
and the hilarious part is, if you're in the middle of Point Nemo, the closest cell tower is a satellite above you in orbit.
Hey, it's not that far away.
Right?
The
Like-
SpaceX's direct-to-cell network is going to be 360 kilometers circular, which is.
Yeah.
I would like to add, guys, that 360 kilometers circular for a Starlink satellite is very low. That is a very, very unstable orbit. It's a very decaying orbit. So these satellites are going to have to keep firing their thrusters. Keep firing their thrusters to stay on orbit. That means they're going to fall out of orbit quicker, which means you need more frequent launches. And if you want to launch more full reusability, a fully reusable ship, that, you know,
Where this is going.
yeah. Sawyer, you see where this is going? Sawyer, what do you think about this? This is a pretty big deal, right?
I mean, I think it's fantastic. There are definitely some concerns that I'm sure I have that other people have, besides Kevin making puns in chat. That is always a concern. Saying only if you can find Nemo. But one thing with cell towers that's critical is they can triangulate them if someone is lost or in an emergency, or if police need to do their thing. They ping cell towers, and that's how they find cell phones and people associated with them. What does that mean if your cell tower is in space? Is that a feature that still works or no longer works? Which, I mean, I guess it's the pro of, then if you're in an emergency, you can make a phone call, but also I don't know if they can pinpoint your location for that. I mean, obviously there's always benefits to having more connectivity. The question then is, what networks will participate in it too? And is that going to change things? Does it then make, a T-Mobile more desirable or outbid its competitors if someone like AT&T or Verizon or Vodafone or whoever doesn't take it on?
So, yeah, that's a very interesting point. So SpaceX, what they did was that they're offering this service to cell phone providers, which is, so any cell phone provider can get it. But Sawyer, like, that's a good point. Like, but my mind goes back to, like, who's going to be like a cell phone provider? Like, it's EJ Wireless, and I mean, like, everybody else has, now has direct to cell capability. No, you know what? I'm going to keep just using towers in dead zones and stuff. I'm going to keep doing that. Who's going to do that, right? EJ Wireless wouldn't. If I had it, you wouldn't do that. I'd be the first one. I'd be like, yo, Elon, I need this for my phones, like, now.
I wonder what the contracts would be between the cell phone providers and SpaceX, like how much money SpaceX would get to offer this service to them, because they the amount of money they put in, $17 billion. Okay, how much return investment is SpaceX going to get on this, offering this service? Like, the amount of money they're going to make is,
Dude, they already make, like, okay, so
right?
I believe Starlink is over. Let's see. Starlink has 700,000 users, or no, 7 million users, and each one of them is paying $100 a month subscription fee. That's like $8 billion. About $8 billion a year. That's how much they've made thus far, like this year. And that is not trending downward. And that's not even the cell phone service stuff, Ryan, right? Like, that's just the Starlink antenna, and it's a hotspot. It's like you get Wi-Fi and stuff. When it moves to DTC, man,
And not only that, you add the next generation sats to replace the older gen and the current gen. They're flying on Falcon 9. Once Starship really starts going and really starts doing Starlink flights, the bandwidth is going to, like, Starlink is literally only getting better and better and better and better as it goes.
It's ridiculous, man.
And it's kind of nuts, to say the least. Yeah, I mean, heck, if you put the same constellation around Mars, once you get a colony over there, and then you have relay satellites, it'll be a latency, but you could send a text message from Mars to Earth and back.
Can you believe that? I mean,
eventually.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
gonna be nuts.
Eventually.
Sawyer, actually, Ryan, it's funny you mentioned that because I was going to go here with this conversation, and Sawyer, I want you to chime in on this. Like, okay, so you're talking about building communications networks around Mars. What about building them around the moon? You know, part of the reason why Gateway exists is because it always has line of sight, so you're always in theoretical direct communication. Like, you can go from your moon base to Gateway. Gateway serves as your kind of relay, right? And it'll relay your signal back to Earth. So, what happens if like a Starship just buzzes along, just deploys a bunch of these satellites, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now you could have a base on the far side of the moon that's never out of communication, right? All of a sudden, just here you go, just dispensed it. You know, we send like 10 Starships up there, and you make a shell of Starlinks in low lunar, right? Oh no, they decayed. Now you got to go send more. Oh, we just send more with our launch vehicle, right? You don't even need to put these things in like a high lunar orbit, you know, or geostationary. You could just make a constellation around the moon. I mean, eventually they'll come down because the orbits decay on the moon because of gravitational precession, guys, not because of atmosphere like they do on Earth. But Starlink's are already teed up for that. Like how quickly is this going to, Sawyer? Like the question is like, how quickly do you think this is going to make something like Gateway, if it ever launches, redundant?
Have you heard of Rocket Lab's Mars telecommunications orbiter by chance?
I have not. Please tell me about it.
I don't think it's been mentioned at all by Rocket Lab or the mystery.
That's pretty good. That was good.
That was a good one. That was a good one. Yep. 10 out of 10.
Breaking news.
Oh.
Oh, it's clear. It's clear.
MTO.
Dude, if Peter Beck is watching this, he's gonna be like, "Yeah, I'm not talking to them anymore." I'm not talking to those guys anymore.
Hey, let's talk about it. Rocket Lab, you want to talk about the Mars telecommunications orbiter? But anyway, back to the question at hand. I mean, I get where you're going for with that, with the whole, you know, having that lunar network of communications. And SpaceX has basically said they want to do that. They want these communications networks around the moon, around Mars. So it's not a new concept. And I think it's something that we will need. TDRS right now is A, antiquated, and B, overloaded. You know how many different satellites are trying to talk to those? If you ever see the, you know, they have the thing that shows which spacecraft are talking to which ground antennas at which point through TDRS. And those things get old. The first ones were launched by shuttle. That's how old we're talking with this system.
The first ones were launched by shuttle before Challenger.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Challenger had one
you
on
beat me
board.
to it. Yep.
Yeah, that was like 40 years ago.
Yeah, so
Don't like that.
no. So
Don't.
we need it. We need an upgraded telecommunications system. There it is. And, you know, eventually the DSN, same thing, getting a lot of data through it. So, I mean, it's a necessary evil, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know if you saw this week, there was a cool image that it was a reconnaissance satellite that happened to catch one of the Starlinks going through its frame, which they did state is very rare, but it's worth noting. I mean, these things are everywhere now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, why was that satellite taking a picture of a military base? It's weird.
Yeah, no idea why.
No, why would they be doing that? Oh, we caught a Starlink though. Isn't that cool?
Here, Jay, I'll get you a link to that photo because it was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was working on that link there. But yeah, I mean, SpaceX is building out everything that they need to go to Mars, and you know, like, can you imagine how? I'm not going to say easy, all right, because let's be real, this is all spaceflight. None of this is easy, right? Imagine how much more supplemental it'll be if you don't have to worry about like a communications blackout while you're exploring the moon or while you're exploring Mars. You could just, you could always have a direct connection to like mission control. If NASA's trying to build out a mission, you don't need to worry about that. You can just, oh no, Gateway's on the other side of the planet. Don't worry about it. I'm just going to FaceTime my family here from, Mar Tranquilitatis. All right, hey, how you doing, guys? It's me, your astronaut friend.
Tranquilitis? Is there a police box there?
Sure.
Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. The it is kind of funny because you include Starship into this, which I mean we're getting to. Don't worry.
I told you we'd get back to it, guys.
Or you talk about blackouts and everything. Always the most tense points in spaceflight are blackouts, like when Apollo would go around the backside of the far side of the moon, or you have reentry. Now with Starship reentry, you're going to be able to be on comms the whole time. We get live views of it, but I don't think people realize that's going to be live comms all the way through reentry for crewed ships. Same.
I want this.
And if you have a constellation around the moon, it doesn't matter where you are around the moon. You'll have constant communication. No more of the tense period of blackouts around the far side of the moon, trying to figure out what happened to the vehicle, to the crew, and you have to wait till they come around the far side. It's the kind of interconnectivity that just kind of eliminates a lot of uncertainty with everything. So
look at this photo, by the way.
Oh yeah, no. Dude. Oh look, we got a Starlink satellite. Never mind the military air base that we're taking a picture of.
What's really cool though is you can see the way that it takes the photos with the kind of more black and white style, and then it adds the color data, and it's going by so fast at orbital velocity compared to the ground that you literally see it trying to figure out the color aspect of it before finally later in the frame getting the full color of it there in the corner.
Are you saying that this is like when people do the time lapse streak shot of a rocket ascend, this is like the satellite version of that?
If the streak shot was done in black and white, then you had to take a second one to get the color. Like you can see it trying to parse the different colors together, as it says there, the pan-sharpening spectral artifacts.
Those are words.
They are indeed.
Those are words. Maybe where's Jack? Where is Jack Sawyer? We need Jack. Jack would be like, oh yeah, that's the thing that I know everything about. I feel like, Jack, where are you?
McGregor.
Ryan, we love you, dude, but like, he's at
McGregor.
I understand. I understand you like Jack more. That's fine.
You've seen you may or may not have seen on social media his drone footage of actual firing test at McGregor. It's kind of awesome. Go check it out.
Pretty neat. Why doesn't he use that drone to come on the flame trench and hang with us? He abandoned us. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
He's an abandoner.
Yeah. You're an abandoner and your bagel choices suck. At me, bro.
All right. I'm reeling us back in. All right, I'm reeling us back in. Okay. So, fellas, we're talking. The topic of discussion right now for people out there that watch it is like SpaceX spent $17 billion on S-band spectrum licenses for Starlink direct-to-cell satellites. $17 billion is like 75% of NASA's budget for this year. Are we? Fellas, I often hear people say like, oh, I like SLS, all right? Like, and I know half the people are like, oh, I'm leaving, right? and what some constant criticism of like SLS that I've heard over like the last 15 years or something is like, oh, can you imagine if SpaceX had that money? Can you imagine if SpaceX had that SLS money? Could you imagine what they do? I think it's interesting to understand that they do at this point. They do, and they have more.
I mean,
even if you took a little bit of like Starlink's profits and put it towards Starship, we're talking like almost outpacing SLS funding, which is bananas to me. Ryan, what do you think? Like, do you think SpaceX is just going to eclipse NASA and become this like $1 trillion entity? Like,
they're already getting towards that point. I mean, they're just constantly growing, and the more Starlink they use, the more customer payloads they launch, the more crewed missions they do. Once Starship really starts going and they start doing missions to the moon, Mars, people will be paying to fly on Starship to do all that, and the amount of money they're going to get is just hand over fist. It's going to be nuts. They are going to be an incredibly powerful company with the amount of money they have and what they have in terms of Starlink, in terms of their payload, their launch capabilities, and everything else. It's just gonna be nuts. And I know I was trying to remember how much they said it was per year that they spent at Starbase. It was a few billion at least. I think it was like 3.
It's like 4.5 million a day. So times that by
Yeah.
365. I mean, Starbase is a multi-billion-dollar a year operation. Like that's denying that is just weird at this point.
You put together the fact that they're starting to build Gigabay now. They're doing a lot of R&D into Block 3. They're building Gigabay and everything else over at Roberts Road. They're basically building launch pads and everything for multiple different pads, like 39 and 37. Like the amount of money the Starship program is using is, I would say it's more than this total. If you combine everything, I wouldn't be surprised if the Starship program is in the tens of billions at this point. The amount of stuff they put into that program is nuts. I want to know the figure on Raptor development, how much it's costing to do Raptor development, just that, because that is an insane engine. But yeah,
dude, she's a monster, especially Raptor 3s, and we got another. We're shelving that Starlink or Starship topic for a little bit. We're getting to it, but yeah, it's crazy. Sorry, what do you think? Like, what do you think? What do you think it means? Like, if SpaceX could just SpaceX is like actually at a point where it's going to sound weird saying this, but NASA is the one that saved SpaceX back in 2008 when SpaceX got a COTS contract. SpaceX was going to go bankrupt, and NASA's contracts for Falcon 9 and Dragon to resupply the ISS is what saved SpaceX. SpaceX is basically at a point where they don't need NASA contracts. Like NASA contracts for SpaceX revenue is like an inconsequential bit of their business. Sorry, that's nuts, right? Like, what do you think SpaceX, like, what do you think they're going to go with this? This is bananas, dude.
I mean, I think part of why SpaceX continues with the NASA contracts is for the public face of things. I mean, people follow NASA missions. They hear NASA and they say, oh, it's a SpaceX rocket. At this point, most people associate NASA launches, especially with crew, with Falcon 9. It used to be shuttle. Now there's still people that still call it the shuttle, even though it's Falcon. But everyone now associates crew launches with Falcon. That's a great way for them to build the business that they have to now be able to spend all of that development money on Starship. I mean, they definitely don't need NASA support at this point, but at the same time, it also kind of gives them a purpose with it. The goal of Starship is they will be able to launch HLS. They will be able to do these other larger satellites to orbit, these other larger payloads to orbit. Eventually getting onto Mars wouldn't hurt to have some NASA support, especially of the NASA scientists for the Martian surface side of things, and then the SpaceX engineers for the rocket side of things. So I think it's great that they're putting all the money into that. Let other people do the scientific stuff and say, hey, we want to go do the science, and SpaceX be the ones that say, sure, we're the ones to get you there.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I know we're supposed to disagree about these. I kind of agree. I think they should still do them because the optics is the optics can't be ignored. That's a good that's a good point, dude. It's a very good point. All right, guys, if you got questions about this and stuff, I'm gonna see if we can pop through. I'll just pop through support real quick. There's only 2. You guys are making my job easy today, which is fine. All right, we got Bideford here, $25 super chat. What's up, Bideford? How are you? I'm still waiting for the cell phone cases to fit your Samsung. Yeah. Those would be nice, but maybe it's on the Starlink satellite. We got to go up there and get it. Sorry about that. You got to go get it. Anyway, Heisenberg with a $5 super chat. The SpySat has multiple imagers with particular wavelength filters that are combined to make one image. They likely sweep to image the site. Shh. Are you trying to get us killed?
China now has
Why
us
would
on their radar. Well, I guess on their satellite, not their radar.
Shut up, man. Shut up. Zzz,
But
zzz, zip it. Zip it, zip it, zip
so
it.
if you do
Zip
have
it.
more questions about this topic, there's a great video that Ryan Caden put together over on Breaking Space, which is another NSF
Oh.
style channel that we have. So if you want to check out the quick breakdown and you have more questions, check it out over there. It might answer it.
Wait, breaking space. Is that just footage of Ryan breaking things all the time, Sawyer? Or like what's that about?
Okay, I would absolutely watch that if that's
I mean,
what it
I
was.
would too. That's why I asked.
Ryan Caden, we have a video idea for you now.
Yeah. Can it just be Ryan Caton like doing table flips or like jumping through the maps that he puts like behind him or something, like Looney Tunes style?
Mr. Break the Map.
Yeah, Ryan Caton break things in a 3D space, breaking space. That's what it's about. Yeah, no, we should do that. Yeah, you'll thank me
Yes.
later, guys. But yeah, no, breaking space is for, you need quick news on the daily. Ryan's doing good stuff over there, guys. Go over there and check it out. It's good. It's a good time. All right, we have Russell with $100 tip. Dude, Russ, whoa. All right, at NASASpaceflight, at what point will a plethora of starships, plethora of pinatas and starships, tankers, and the lot start colliding with all these Starlink, Kuiper, and other satellites? Oh, interesting. So, okay, we're talking about like starships. Where's all this refueling stuff going? Is it going to be, is it going to hit Kuiper satellites or starships or stuff? Well, I mean, I don't know. Ryan, you want to answer this question? Russell, thank you so much. We appreciate the support.
I mean, the more stuff you put into orbit, it does end up, you do have less room to put other things into orbit. I mean, there's only a finite amount of space around Earth. So, I mean, eventually, if you start putting too much into orbit, it can happen. But you also have to realize space is big. I don't know if you know. There's a lot of space in space around Earth.
That's why they call it that, because there's a lot of it.
Yeah, although I do think we should clean up a lot of the clutter that's in orbit. There's a lot of dead satellites up there that we do need to clean up, which is easier said than done.
Good old Kessler syndrome.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we track all the stuff. Everything is tracked in orbit. They have, in most launches, there are actually things called COLAs, which are cutouts to avoid crashing into other satellites or things that are in space. So people are aware of it, they're tracking it. And yeah, I know more stuff, but the Starlinks are low enough that they are going to come back in and deorbit and destroy themselves. And then that's when SpaceX is continually launching more. So I'm not as worried about those. We'll see where they end up putting the tankers, and hopefully they leave enough prop in them that when they're done, they either come back in and burn up, or they can just catch them and send them up again to continue refueling.
Well, that's the nice thing about that is, and we keep referencing Starship here. We're just going to eventually get to it.
Yeah, let's actually talk about it after this.
I mean, yeah,
I agree.
With tankers, they're going to send it up to rendezvous with depots. They're going to fill the depots up, and the depots are what you dock with to refuel your ship to then head to either like geostationary or lunar orbit or Mars or wherever. The tankers won't actually stay up there. The tankers will go up, fill the depot, return. That's what they'll do. So you're just going to have depots up there. It's the plan, anyways.
Yeah, I mean, are these depot ships, Ryan? Are they in higher orbits than the PLEO constellations, like Starlink and Kuiper? Like, you're wondering about like collisions. Why don't just refuel at a higher altitude?
Yeah, just put the depot at like 500-600 kilometers.
Yeah, and you'd be out of the way of most of this stuff.
Yeah, just you could put a depot between Starlink and Kuiper, literally. And
good
there
idea.
You go. Yeah, or above Kuiper if you really had to.
Good stuff, man. All right, so Ryan, I'm going to keep you talking here. There's been some developments down at Starbase since we last talked. Bring us up to speed, dude. What's been going down in Boca Chica, Starbase Chica?
Yeah,
Boca Base.
Booster 15-2, because D caught a picture of was it, a label on a hatch that said 15-2. So, haha. And it's also, Shannon Diaz has also called it that. So, yeah, we know it's 15-2. SpaceX calls them that.
Who is that? We don't know who that is.
Oh, if I remember correctly, I think it was director of Starship Engineering, if I remember correctly.
There you go.
And yeah, and basically, well, it completed its static fire on pad 1A. I still call it A. It's just whatever.
I call it this pad.
Yeah.
And the other one is that pad.
Nice. One alpha? There you go.
That's an abort criteria.
Basically, this is, well, with this static fire done, they immediately started modifying the pad for Ship 38, and even today they started hooking up the hoses for the ship umbilical. The stand is already installed. I would not be surprised if we see road closures for Ship 38's roll to the pad, heck, even by the end of the day today. Or something. I would not be surprised at all. Still waiting on beach closures for testing for that as well. It should be sooner rather than later. And then maybe a launch of Flight 11 end of the month, early October, with how quickly they're going, as long as they don't have to replace an engine on Ship 38. But yeah. And then as for Booster 15, that completes a streak of Block 1 and 2 boosters of 9 straight booster static fires without having to do a redo. Booster 9 was the last booster to have to do 2 static fires before its first flight. Booster 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16 have all done singular static fires before a flight. It's a pretty impressive streak. It makes you wonder why ships have to do engine replacements, then boosters haven't. Or at least if they have to do an engine replacement, they haven't had to redo engine testing for it. But, it's the last booster static fire on pad 1. It's the last one. So that's where we're at, basically.
I can't believe that. I can't believe that, and I remember them watching them. I remember watching SpaceX, long time ago in the before times, almost, well, not in the before times, kind of before times, or like the pandemic and stuff. Like, we watched them drill the holes for that thing. That wasn't that long ago. Like, now, oh yeah, that's it. All right, we don't need this anymore. Just get rid of it. I tell you, man, nothing is sacred with these guys. It's just SN15 is floating out, demolish it. Whatever.
At least they're saving 12.
Yep. That's crazy.
And also, don't forget Ship 15, right?
Yeah, you can see it in the rocket garden.
Exactly. Yeah. Very technical. Very technical.
Yeah, totally. Hey, do you know Starship's big?
Still bringing that up.
Anyways,
No.
I was not aware of that.
But yeah, it is kind of a bittersweet ending to the booster test stand turned suborbital launch pad. Because I will say that part of this, and you can go read some of the quotes. I wrote an article that's got put out like right as we started Flame Trench. It's pinned in the chat. Bill Gertschmeyer was talking about some Flight 10 success and stuff at a symposium, and well, he was talking how Flight 11 it'll be suborbital. Flight 12 will also be suborbital, and so this pad will never truly launch a Starship to orbit, so it's no longer the orbital launch pad. At least in my eyes.
Does that mean we call it suborbital pad C?
Yes. Or pad scrap. What? I will say this though. It's a joke, but it is, considering where they started with that pad and where it's ended up, it is an engineering marvel and it's a MacGyvered pad and an engineering marvel to be able to launch the most powerful rocket ever built, and still be able to be turned around in a month. It is impressive, to say the least. But it is time for a new era with the Starship program, with a much more robust pad over at Pad B, which I will just say today, and there's some developments with that, they did a extension and retract test with the LOX booster QD on Pad B. I don't think it has its hose yet, its primary supply hoses, but it's definitely hooked up and running now, or at least can extend and retract. So that's a pretty big development there. And they're also taking scaffolding off of I think it was the right stick on Pad B. So they're making a lot of progress on that new pad, and I can't wait to see 2 of those over at Starbase.
Yes, that pad. Yeah, that's the right name. Yes, that's right.
And it's a shame because all of the tickers from SBL, all of the video titles, all of the Starbase updates that we used,
Pad
work
2.
continues on the OLM.
Yeah. And now it's no
Did
longer
someone
OLM.
say that we should rename it the original launch mount so we can still
I
call
like
it
that.
OLM and get away
That's
with
I like
it?
not
that.
bad. That's
Yeah.
not bad. Man, it's not bad.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea.
Mm.
That's a good idea. So, Ryan, we're gearing up for. You're gearing up. They're gearing up that pad.
Mhm.
That one that's on the screen right there.
Yeah, that one.
They're gearing up that one for the Block 3 booster, which is a complete refactor in the design, right? Like it might as well be a new ship, right? Like it's a whole new stack. This is a completely different vehicle, right?
In a lot of ways, yeah.
There's like you couldn't like take a Block 3 and put it on the original launch mount.
No. It wouldn't. The clamps wouldn't even interface right at all. So no, you couldn't even put it in there even if you wanted to.
Cool. So what I'm getting at is like right now we've seen how many times have we seen Starship get like a gigantic refactor? Like, I mean, the Block 2 ship was a huge one, right? And now they're just refactoring the entire vehicle. It's like, okay, all right. It's been theorized that, well, not theorized. SpaceX has said that they want Block 3 to move 100 tons into low Earth orbit. Now, I wanted, we see booster 15-2 static fire, and we're going to get flight 10. Then we move to flight 11, which should be happening like what? I don't know, early 2026 maybe. I mean, SpaceX says the end of the year.
You mean flight 11 is booster 15 and ship 38, not flight 10 happened.
Yeah, I zigged when I should have zagged. You're right.
Yeah.
I'm wrong. So we move to flight 12, right? Like flight 12 is going to be early 2026, right? Sorry, I forgot to add one. It's been a long week. Anyway,
Yeah.
I wanted to chime in here real quick. And Ryan, we were talking about this before the show. I wanted to chime in here. Like, you see that the Block 2 ship, right? That's flying on flight 11. Yeah, I see it. You see the Block 2 ship flying on flight 11. That can move, SpaceX said that can move like 35 tons to LEO and change, or, well, sort of, right? And they want Block 3 to move 100 tons, right? Ryan, we were talking about this. Is that really a thing? Can they do that? And I was just doing some like napkin math here, right? And if you look at, guys, I wanted to mention this. Like, if you look at the version 3 booster and you just, with some information that has been presented, right? How are you going to move something 100 tons? You got to really take a lot of rocket off of your rocket and, potentially add more fuel and oxidizer to move that kind of throw because there's too much rocket on it, right? That's how the Delta V formula works. That's how, which is used to measure spacecraft range. That's how this works. So you need less rocket. I was just thinking like Raptor 2 to Raptor 3 in differences in mass here is 1,100 kilos between a Raptor 2 and a Raptor 3. That's 2,400 pounds for people that use lunar units. Anyway, that's 2,400 pound difference. You take that 1,100 kilos, you times that by 33. That's 33 tons in change. Mass being shed off of super heavy, and then a 10-ton hot staging ring off of that too. Like, if you're shaving, that's 40 tons in change. Like, I understand that Booster 3 has a new hot staging, right? But that's 40 tons, like, of fat trimmed off of super heavy. That is enough of a difference. Even if you're carrying like similar amounts of fuels to really get SpaceX towards that 100-ton throw weight. I think they'll get past that. Ryan, you don't shave 40 tons off of your first stage and not like have an exponential increase in your payload mass to orbit. Less rocket on your rocket, right? So, Ryan, this is what I wanted to kind of end this up with. Like, do you think they can make the 100 tons? Do you think that this V3 ship will do that?
Eventually. I think because when you look at the new booster design based off everything we've seen and everything else, yeah, they're taking a grid fin off, they're taking off the hot stage ring, but it is being converted into a new truss system. The newer grid fins are bigger, and not only that, they have cavities into the methane tank now, so that kind of adds some weight to it. With that, plus we don't even know what kind of support structure is between those three cavities to also support the forward dome. We don't even know what's in there. That's going to add weight as well. Whatever kind of what kind of protection they got to put in the forward dome, that'll probably add a little bit of weight. They definitely lose a lot with losing a lot of engine shielding. There's still a little bit here and there. They're covering. There's shielding around the main valve assemblies. They're shielding around the whatever flanges are left on Raptor 3. There's going to be shielding over the TVC actuators and stuff like that, as well as the main gimbal points and hook ends for the pumps. Now, the other part for added mass is that new transfer tube they have. Transfer tube slash it's like three different things. It's based off everything we can see, which we did see some like new what looks to be we think it's an aft for the new booster in Star Factory over the last few nights. It's a transfer tube slash landing tank slash boost back tank is what we think it is. So basically, there's a thin 1 meter wide methane transfer tube that runs down the middle. This goes to a cone, which then separates out to web out the connections.
Web out.
Yeah. And they basically make a transfer tube with a methane landing tank at the bottom, and then all the way up to the common dome is your liquid oxygen landing and boost back tank. So basically, your propellant slosh, your ice issues are all gone for booster flip and boost back burn and landing. If that's what they end up doing, which it makes the most sense when you actually look at it. I mean, those issues are gone, which means you don't need as much ice filtration. And if anyone remembers the photos from the original photos from Booster 13 when it was originally taken out of the Gulf, it had a massive cage on it for ice filtration. Well, you don't need that anymore, really. You shouldn't need that anymore, honestly, because your 20 outers aren't going to run after ascent phase. So this change helps move that over. I don't know how much mass that adds to it, but you also have to remember how much more thrust increase you get out of Raptor 3. I think they can hit the 100-ton mark, but I think it'll take some more refinements as they fly it, obviously. And that's the thing about the Starship program is you build a bunch of stuff, you fly it, you refine it, you shed mass as you realize you don't need things here, you don't need things there, and they'll figure it out. But I think they'll get there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, they're certainly trading a lot of things for other things. That tube is a lot higher mass, and like that's kind of what I'm getting at. Like, Sawyer, do you think they're going to get 100 tons out of the gate, or do you think there's something that they're going to work to, right? Like, do you think they're going to get it
out of the gate? Absolutely not.
Really?
I don't think they're going. Really,
okay.
I think because they're going to go with the Block 3, start doing things with it, realize, oh wait, we actually need to add parts, or we need to reinforce parts and structurally improve them. So I think it's safe to easily say that they'll hit 50 tons. 100 tons, I think it's going to take some development and design. By Block 4, 100 tons easy. But my thought process is take whatever number they put in that graphic that Jade showed and cut them in half, and that's what I would say is safe to guarantee. Doesn't mean they're not going to hit 100 with Block 3, but I think it's safe to guarantee 50 and eventually aim for 100. Yeah, because when you look at that, so that's why, like, version 4, sure, I think that can do 100 tons off the bat because they'll have learned enough from Block 3. And if you think of the numbers that they were originally planning for Block 2 before it decided to Block 2 itself, they were talking, what was it, 50?
They're talking 100. The Block 2 was supposed to be able to do 100 tons, and that didn't happen.
That's why I think it's safe to cut it in half, and it ended up at about 35. So.
Yeah. I think that's
Wait.
fair. I just can't believe that they took 30 tons out of the engine design alone. That's enough to increase your throw something fierce. Because all right, like I'm just gonna nerd out here for a second, guys. Like I said a little bit earlier, the less rocket you have on your rocket and the more fuel and oxidizer you have on your rocket, the further your rocket's going to go. That's a plain English way of saying like the math behind how a rocket flies, right? Taking 30 tons out of your first stage doesn't necessarily translate to 30 tons more payload. It could potentially mean more depending on the trajectory, or less, because that's delta V is weird and spaceflight is very counterintuitive. But it is crazy. Like, and this is why I wanted to bring up this discussion. Like, so you don't think they're going to get it, but the fact that we're sitting here, they're like, oh, is it going to be 50 tons? Is it going to be 100 tons? I mean, guys, the space shuttle, arguably the only vehicle that's been reused in space a couple of times. The space shuttle could only move 25 tons into space, and it could bring 12 tons down, right? Starship's already past that. Now, we don't know if Starship can bring anything down yet. Maybe that'd be nice. Like, go get some ISS modules, please. But the fact that we're having this conversation is ridiculous, and the fact that we're talking about like heavy boosters. Oh, they shaved 30 tons off the heavy booster, right? Like, oh no, they're gonna put it back because of the transfer tube, because of the common dome and stuff. Like that's and less shielding and stuff. That's crazy to me. And we're talking about something that's gonna be here for Flight 12. That's not that far away, guys. It's not that far away. I mean, even if you're like Ryan, what do you think 12 is gonna go? Right, like January?
No. With
No?
where they're with where they're at
There's the
with
Ryan.
testing stuff, they haven't even fully built all their test tanks yet for Block 3. In fact, they just put one of their hot stage ring test articles, because I think they're making another one, on the old can crusher in Mega Bay 1. So that's just one of them. I've been thinking March or later at the earliest. There's a
There's
lot
the Ryan
of
Weber we know and love.
they haven't even stacked one. Here's the thing. They launched Ship 33 at the beginning middle of January, and they started stacking that in Mega Bay 2 at the end of July. This was last year. At the end of July 2024, and it launched January 2025. Ship 39 is still in Star Factory, and let's check the date. It's middle September. Booster 18 doesn't even have its aft section yet. Doesn't even have a forward. It didn't even have a methane tank. Pad 2, B. Well, it's not done yet. It's still got a ways to go. Massey's not finished yet. All the test tanks they need to do it. Some of them aren't even built yet or tested. Only one has been so far. They have at least B18.3 plus 39.1. There is a lot of work left to do for Block 3. They'll get there, and I really, really hope that all this testing, all the new infrastructure, and all the things that they push for definitely, get this thing to work incredibly well. But it's going to take some time to get there. But please, I want them to take their time. Let's be honest here. I want them to take their time because I want Block 3 to work right out of the gate. Please, I don't want another Block 2 situation. I've said it many times. I don't want that. I want this thing to work out of the gate. I want it to work really, really nicely. I hope they learned a lot. They learned a lot of lessons with Block 2. Booster team. I mean, I was just talking about it earlier. The streak it had of static fires without having to redo one. The booster team has been rock solid. The ship team has had to work through a lot of issues, but they've been able to work through issues, and Ship 37 had a great flight. So I hope Block 3 starts off with a, very well. I was going to say with a bang, but, I was going to say with a bang as in a good bang, as in it's, maybe Ship 39 tips over in the Indian Ocean and blows up, but it gets there is what I meant, if you know what I mean.
And
but yeah.
Look, I know we're tight on time now, but
sorry, what about you?
I have to bring up the fact that, again, I think that they'll be able to do January, end of January probably. But I think they can do it. I mean, they've been pushing so hard to get this second pad up and running they've done an amazing job at that. And hey, if Massey's isn't ready, as we've seen, they can make modifications on the actual, eventually will be orbital launch mount at Pad That. So I think they have a shot there. And yes, Kevin, I know we're all being kind of on the pessimistic side. Let me clarify my point before. I know that the definition of Block 2 version 2 is kind of like a Frankenstein of 1 and 2, and that 3 is what 2 should have been. But it's not. We're going off the numbers that SpaceX is now using, and I'm not saying that it won't hit 100. I'm saying off the bat, they will fine-tune it. They will refine it. They will be able to hit 100, I think. As we've seen with Falcon. You know, they have the different blocks. I mean, you have Block 4 and then 4 full thrust. Who knows? Maybe we get a 50-ton and then a 100-ton full thrust.
Sawyer, I agree. I think they're going to do it sooner rather than later. Kevin's going off. Ryan, you tell him. Put that producer in his place.
Yep. And
Anyway.
also now, Brian, you're going to have to
No,
disown
I never
anytime
made
it
that
flies
bet,
in
Chris. I never made that bet. I never made the bet.
So Ryan
it's a
disavows
lie.
Tay-Tay
It's
if
a
Flight 12
lie.
launches in 2025.
Ellie Star can back me up. I never made that bet. And it doesn't even matter either way because even Bill, the executive of build launch reliability for SpaceX, even said next year for V3. So we know it's next year.
You know, Sawyer, you think it's going to go in January. Ryan, you think it's going to go in March. Like, even if, Ryan, like, okay, you know what's crazy? Even if Ryan, you're right, you know that March is like 6 months away, right? You know, like March 2026 is not, it's like just around the corner, right? Like, that's not a long period of time.
My timelines were March was based off the fact if they really started stacking the ship in August and then testing and everything, there was 5 months between when they started stacking ship 33 and then they eventually flew it. The whole timeline was they start stacking ship 39, test it and fly it in 5 months. The problem is it is a new ship with new systems and a new pad. So I added some time to that, but the fact that they haven't done it yet, my timeline gets pushed like 6-7 months. It's in perpetuity, like 6-7 months until they start stacking this thing. Like, right, that's what I kind of feel at this point. I hope it's earlier. I mean, I want to see one of those launches. I cannot wait to see a static fire on that pad, to see a launch out of that pad. It's going to be utterly nuts. Everything that they've done with it, but I'm just looking at the timelines of the past, and that's kind of where we're at.
I mean, even with the pessimism, though, like 6 months away, which means 2026 is even closer. That's like 3.5 months away. Yeah. That's crazy. And on that terrible disappointment, I think it's time to wrap up here. And on that bombshell, I think it's time to end.
Yeah, Chad's not happy with us on that. Or Ryan and I, at least.
Before we go, we finally found out what SQR means. And it's boring.
Square hole?
Yeah. It's Starship Quantum Ring. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's not. It's square ring wall because they're square hollow I-beams they used to build it. The ship stands. That's why it's called SQR.
I like Stargate Quantum Ring.
Yeah, Stargate Quantum Ring's better.
Yeah, we're just gonna call it that from now on.
I'm good with that.
It goes in the square ring wall hole.
That's right. It goes in the square ring wall hole.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, on that terrible disappointment that it's just called the square ring wall hole, Ryan, thanks for coming in with us. Thank you for chit-chatting with me and humoring my crazy delusions about Starship. I appreciate it, man.
Well, it's a pleasure as always, and we'll see if Jack's back next week. I guess he's an abandoner, so he just abandoned you guys. So I got to fill in for him. But yeah, maybe he's back next week.
Well, we should have you on here, and then you guys should have a battle royale. For my amusement.
Why not? I don't know.
Okay, changing subjects. Sawyer, thank you for coming in. Thank you for being here. Thank you for giving us your insight on Poopy Mars Rocks. We really appreciate it. Sorry. We really appreciate it, dude. Appreciate you having you here.
That's what I'm here for?
Moving Mars rocks. Yes.
Yeah, no, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you. And Eric, I saw what you were saying, that it's not the pad's fault the rocket hasn't gone orbital from it. The pad is capable of supporting orbital, but it didn't. So
It didn't.
yeah, we don't call Slick 6 the shuttle pad out of Vandenberg because it didn't launch shuttle.
Oh, why you gotta bring that up, man?
Because we're out of time, so you can't fight me.
Oh. Okay. All right. I'm just gonna plow through the support queue here real quick. Crispy, 10 Red Team memberships. Thank you very much. Eric has a $5 super chat. Yeah, it's not the pad's fault. David Hall became a Pad Rat member, and Ben Greasy, they won't, but they could build a lander out of Dragon and send it on Starship to Mars land crew and use Dracos to reorb. Sure, that's a tall order, but I mean, I wouldn't be unhappy about seeing it. But anyway, thank you for all the support, guys. Really appreciate it. We really appreciate the flight engineers, the launch directors, all the people that come to support this stream, watch us here every week. We do appreciate you. Thank you very much. We couldn't be doing this stuff without you. Now, what I'm going to do here is try to say all those people's names. Jay, bring that card back up. I was going to say everybody's name quickly. There we go. I said it at light speed there. So
Yeah.
That was everybody. I thanked everyone
Did a
just
flash.
now. All right. This is where we leave you guys. We're going to move over to this week in spaceflight, starting up here momentarily. I am EJ_SA. I am the host of this, crazy train, I guess. And I will be signing off for now. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Let's go watch Twist. Have a good night.
And here we go. We have liftoff.
Propulsion continues to be nominal.
R68 chamber pressure looks good.
Following up. Roger, Atlantic.
Water towers, fly! Yes!
Tango down to nominal.
Flight downside FD off. Bring in FD off. It's orange!
125! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Decollage.
What is this?
Put that in the big bag,
343 unfolds to go.
Indeed.
We rise together back to the moon and beyond.
The methane will be igniting in the flare, correct?
Yikes. You read? Sure. We don't need any more of these.